Thanks for watching channel NCCI. 2015 was a surprising year for medical costs in the workers' compensation industry, where average severity of medical claims saw the first decline in more than 20 years. NCCI's latest research brief investigates the key factors behind this decline, based on analysis of medical claims severity data from 38 states. NCCI Associate Actuary David Colon spoke with us about the paper's findings. So let's start at the beginning. Medical severity. In its simplest form, what is that?
In its simplest form, medical severity is just on average, how much is a medical claim in workers' compensation. When we analyze medical costs, we like to look at two components, one being the severity and the frequency, how many claims are happening on a yearly basis.
But in 2015, there was actually a decrease. What happened? For the first time in 2 decades, medical severity went down. Why?
It was surprising to us too, and we decided to look into it. And just like I said for medical costs, in which we like to break up the components of medical costs, we also like to break up the components of medical severity. One being the prices of medical services, or how much are being payments for medical services, and also what is the utilization of those medical services, how often they're being used. And when we started looking into the different types of medical services, physicians, hospitals, and other types of medical services, we learned that physicians were the biggest cost driver of the decrease that was observed in 2015. And we also learned that prices were not significantly, there was not a significant change in prices. Utilization was actually the biggest contributor to the decrease in physician costs.
So this decrease we saw in medical severity in 2015, a trend that could continue?
A lot of my colleagues tell me that one observation is really not a trend. Actually, in 2016, we saw that medical severity was up once again. But we do see a trend that's been happening for many years, is medical severity, the growth in medical severity has been slowing down. And particularly, if you were to compare the recent trends in medical severity compared to the trends that were observed back in the 90s, is a big difference, much more smaller.
David, your research, as stated in the article, shows that the decline in physician costs was directly related to the corresponding 3% decline in physician utilization per claim, correct?
That is correct.
So the question then is, what led to the decline in utilization?
Well, our research looks into the different components of utilization. We noticed that there's a dip in the average number of services for individuals or for claimants that were seeing a physician. What could be causing that? Well, one is, are they seeing their physicians less times? Or when they're seeing their physicians, are they getting less number of services during that visit? What our research told us is that they were both equally contributors.
What did the medical severity trends look like prior to 2015?
Great question. Medical severity prior to 2015 has been on the rise. However, the rate of annual growth has varied significantly over the years. Especially back in the 90s, there was much more rapid growth than what we're seeing recently. One of our research has shown that utilization throughout time period has been a bigger contributor to the rate of growth in medical severity over time, more than prices.
And these observed changes were countrywide, but these changes in medical severity, was that the case in every state?
In about half of our states, half of NCCI states, we did see decreases. In other states, we saw increases. Those increases and decreases range from less than negative 10% to in excess of 10%.
Were there any type of physician services that contributed to the observed decrease in medical severity?
So we did look into different types of physician services, such as evaluation and management, radiology, physical therapy, surgery. And what we saw was that they all contributed, with one exception, evaluation and management, which had a little bit of an increase in 2015. However, overall, physician costs were down in 2015.
Why is this information important for our industry?
Well, this research, although it focuses on explaining what happened in 2015, the decrease in medical severity, it drills down into a variety of medical cost drivers, and it does explain how those medical cost drivers could have an effect on medical severity.
Thanks, David. This was great. Really insightful.
Thanks, Dean. It was my pleasure.
To read the full research brief on the 2015 medical severity decline, visit the Insights portal on ncci.com. Insights is your source for cutting-edge research, thought-provoking articles, and unmatched analysis. Thanks for watching Channel NCCI.